starting with the grand final here of the battle for the crown. Step 4. So I have to get all the prepositions wrong. So right, not wrong. Broke back. We have Azion, Haedra, Aurel and Binks, who will battle it out for not 25 euro this time, but for 35 euro for the first place, then 15 for the second place, and the third place won't get 500 planets, but the third place will grant himself 5 euro, so a total prize pool of 55 euro, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So they have increased the prize pool for the step 4 and step 5, and if I remember correctly, even for step 6, we have the point repetition of 10, 7, 5 and 3 points. And of course we play till 120 points because it's the final. And if you have activated or if you have surpassed its 120 points threshold, you will grant yourself the final status, and you have to win one more round in order to win the whole thing. So this is the task for now. Unfortunately, Vulnera got eliminated after a good performance, but a too late performance by his teammate Haedra, and Binks and Aurel and Azion qualified in the first semi-final. So let's go with the first round here, the mini RPG map, which was the first round in the semi-final as well. Let's get it started here. Azion was really strong on this map, so I'm expecting much of him. He got a really good start, does not come in touch with the bumper block, but right now he is stumbling a bit, finds himself 0.2 of a second behind Aurel, who's the leader of the race. Then we have also Binks and Haedra in the mix, so this is a close fight, but Binks with a mistake, and Haedra has accumulated a lot of speed, so he is in first. Binks is dead, and he won't have a saying here. Oh, is also not able to make that jump. So let's focus here on this battle for that first place. Will it be Haedra or Aurel? Of course, the flip is remaining for both of the players. Haedra with a good amount of speed. Aurel goes super far inside, so therefore it is Haedra with more speed. But it will be all in the ending anyway. Aurel with a good flip, and will be Haedra who wins it over Aurel, but only 0.08 of a second between both of the players. Then with Azion in third, and Binks unfortunately has DNF'd the round and is not able to grant himself any amount of points. So Haedra, good start for him, 10 points into his pocket. Aurel also with 7 points. And Azion is just behind both of the players with 5 points. Okay, Binks goes super far inside there as well as Haedra. Azion with a more, speedy line, as you can see here. But it really didn't pay off. Oh, because there's the tiny section or the tight section there combined with a freewheel. So you really need to get just the right amount of speed in order to squeeze yourself in between that section. So it is Aurel in first place, Haedra in second, and you can see a lot of mistakes have been done by all of the players. Compared to the other round, it's Haedra finding himself 2 seconds behind the leader, who's Aurel, and I see Azion has just DNF'd the round. Binks also 10 seconds behind, and what is happening here? Aurel granting a free 10-point to Haedra in second place with a 48.80. And Binks is not able to finish. What is happening? Or he's able to finish. 0.04 of a second. I thought for a minute that he's not able to finish, but he did so. So 5 points to Binks' account. 17 points for Haedra and Aurel. So both of them looking really strong. Azion and Binks both only with 5 points. So this is grim news or bad news for both of the players. But of course everything can happen here, because we are only at the first map so far, and the point limit is 120. This time, no mistakes have happened here. Binks with a very good section. Look at the speed from Binks here. What a great section for the French player. Haedra just behind him, but Haedra and Binks both had it with a good landing. So it's Azion and Aurel both up in the lead, and it will be the battle here between both of the semi-finalists of the first semi-final. So who will take it? This is neck and neck. Azion against Aurel. Aurel with a good flip, but why is my game lagging right now? So Aurel is taking it. Azion actually has failed it. So it is Binks in second place, Haedra in third, and Azion finishing in last place. But what was that lag here for my end? I'm not sure if it's its server or not, but Azion has failed the ending and is down to 8 points, unfortunately for him. Aurel with 27 points out of 30 points possible. So great job there for the Frenchman playing for Team Gaming Privé. Yeah, nice pronunciation, alright? I've casted this guy so much in the last couple of days or weeks that I have to know this pronunciation. as well as Binks and Haedra. Azion, I'm casting for the first time today, and speaking of him, he's making the first mistake of the round. Binks is a little bit further behind as well. 1 second to be exact. Aurel and Haedra are in the lead at P1 and P2. Haedra with a superior line compared towards Aurel, so he will go up into the lead. But Aurel wants to have a saying here in the ending and maybe sneak some 10 points away. Haedra with a good flip and Aurel as well. So Aurel in second place and Haedra will grant his 10-pointer here and move up to 32 points. Aurel up to 34 points, but look at this. It's super close here for the first and second place. Binks and Azion, unfortunately, already a little bit further behind. But, of course, everything can happen on the upcoming maps here. So we have a piece of dirt now, which is a rather simple track. As you can see, you have one piece of dirt here, and the other piece of dirt is here. So the map name should have been Pieces of Dirt. Or two, not like pieces, I don't know, 2 pieces of dirt. That's the plural, right? I take one piece. That's like a defined and undefined article thingy. And if you think about it, if I think about those rules, I can't figure them out myself. But you have 2 dirt pieces here, I would say it like that. And then a rather technical track with a ending where you have to accumulate a lot of speed over a long stretch. And also here, just align your car very good in order to grant yourself the best lines possible. And of course the best speed possible, because we have some long stretches to go for. And we can see Binks and Haedra having a good warm-up. As you see, Azion not making it pretty good here. But looking good for Haedra right now. Haedra with a 49.56 in the warm-up. Binks didn't finish, and also Azion is not able to finish the warm-up. But we will go into the first live round now on Piece of Dirt. Oh, it is Azion with the first mistake of the round. And it will be Binks who is battling it out with Aurel, and as well as Haedra, who's in the mix, who is right now in third place, just behind Binks and Aurel. But he's 0.3 behind, so it will be hard for him to come back from this gap. Aurel with a good amount of speed, as well as Binks, so they will extend their lead towards Haedra here just a tiny bit. 0.35 of a second now, but Binks with a good line and Aurel with a mistake. So Haedra up to P2, and Binks will be certainly very happy about that, because he's in dire need of some points. He's only at 15 points after the first map, but Binks is looking strong to win this first round here on Piece of Cup. Yes, he will do so. He takes it a little bit conservatively, loses a bit in the end. Smart choice from Binks, and he will grant himself 10 points. Azion with the DNF, Haedra with 7 points, and Aurel granting himself 5 points. And then we have now a double lead with Haedra and Aurel, both with 39 points. So great job from both of the players. Binks and Azion didn't really arrive in the grand final yet, but it is Binks who got a really good performance. So maybe he can make something happen in the upcoming rounds as well. Azion with 13 points. This is grim news for the NCB player, of course. This time he has a good start. Look at that. He's a really good start alongside with Aurel, the gaming PV player. He was in so many finals in the last couple of weeks that he's just having so much. He has gained so much experience, and I think he's not even feeling pressure anymore. So this is a good thing. But look at this fight here. It is actually Azion with a lot of speed in this ending. Binks goes super far inside, but it's Azion with more speed. Who will take this ending here? It will be Azion who will not overtake him. 3,000 of a second. Binks will stay ahead. But what a close fight there. As well as Aurel finding himself 34,000 of a second behind the second seeded player. And Haedra is also not so far behind. What a great round there. But he was able to stay ahead. What a good round, and this is exactly what the final should be about. So great ending there from Binks, who will come closer and won 2 consecutive rounds in a row now. Ooh, Haedra, wonky approach. He didn't really die. I have no idea how he survived that, but he was certainly able to stay on track. Now it is Binks, Aurel, and then Haedra. Azion is a little bit further behind. Aurel goes for the speed and for a better line for that next part. But Azion with a nosedive, so he will be out on that round, not in this competition. The competition has just started, final-wise, of course. So Binks, Haedra, and Aurel. Now your top 3. Binks again in the lead. So Binks could win his 3rd round in a row. Binks with a lot of speed. And Haedra is just behind him. Haedra goes for the attack, but it's not enough. So Binks will win it with a 49.18. What a great time from Binks here. What a great time. So Binks now up to 45 points. And he's really pushing it. 45, 49, and 45 points. 49 points for Aurel and Haedra. And Binks, this is just his map. Can he get his 4th win in a row? Or will it be another player who could break the chain of Binks here? It is Binks not with a good start though. Oh, Azion! Azion with a bug, with a LuckersTurbo bug here in this section. And this looked like a schwerer Verkehrsunfall for him. So this is certainly not what he wants. He's super far behind. Haedra and Aurel are in the mix to deny Binks the 1st place. But it is actually Binks with a mistake. So it will be between Aurel and Haedra, the both 1st seeded players. Aurel with a good line. Haedra had to save it, but he will stay on track and is right now in 2nd place. Aurel will grant himself, therefore, the 10-pointer. But will Binks actually overtake Haedra in the end? Yes, he will do so. So Binks with 37 out of 40 possible points. Great job there from Binks. And also a great time from Aurel with a 49.18. What a good time. And this will put Aurel almost halfway through the match. Alright, going to the next track. It is something like Tech, a map where you have a lot of transitions. For example, this drift here that I want to show you. This drift here where you have to jump in a drift. And this is full speed and you want to land on all of your 4 wheels and get a good line that you go on from the 4-wheel slide into the 2-wheel slide as fast as possible. Then of course this slide here with a reverse boost where you have to really estimate the right amount of speed that you need for this part here. Because if you have too less speed, you fall tremendously behind. And then there's the ending section with a repetitive slide here, as well as some speedy section. And then, of course, the alignment to the ending where you have to squeeze your car just to that cut here and jump through to that sculpture here. You can either jump to the left or to the right. To the right, of course, is a little bit harder. And then there is this full speed ending. So I'm really interested to see how the players will perform here. Because we have seen some crazy stuffs here. Some equals, some 1,000ths of a second differences in the ending. And also different jumps in the ending. So Binks was the big loser on the semifinal too. He got denied so many points here by Haedra. But Aurel also played outstandingly on this track. So the warm-up has finished. And we will go on to the first live round on something like Tech. And my nose is still itchy. I hate it. My stupid allergy is killing me. But nonetheless, Azion with a good start. No one is failing it here. The lol-ish slide in the start is passed by every player. Binks is going for the early release. Aurel and Haedra did it really good. Look at that. So it's Binks and Azion betting out for 3rd place and Aurel and Haedra for that 1st place. But it's actually Aurel dropping a little bit further behind. He misestimated that turn and it's Haedra with a lead of 0.3 of a second. What a madman. And now the battle here for that 2nd place. Aurel or Binks. Who's gonna take it? Who's gonna grant himself 7 points and who will grant himself only 5 points? Oh, good jump here from Binks. He has a little bit more speed than Aurel as it seems, but it's not enough. So it will be Haedra winning it with a 50.46. What a great time by him. Aurel with a 50.88 in 2nd, and then Binks additional 700ths I mean, in 3rd place. And Azion only after a mistake in last place. And he's 29 points. He's at 29 points. Double the points is Binks away from him, the 3rd seated player. So this is very, very bad news for Azion. So they will declare the money prize for them here in the top 3. But it is Binks with a mistake. Haedra in second right now. Azion with a good amount of speed, and Haedra is pushing it, as well as Aurel. So Aurel with a good approach here in this section. But let's see who can get this sculpture jump, or this sculpture part the best. It's Haedra going to the lead yet again. Aurel a little bit further behind with 0.12 of a deficit towards Haedra. Azion finds himself half a second behind Haedra here. So only the ending is remaining for Haedra. Really survive it. Aurel is pushing it. Aurel is overtaking the lead. Aurel with a lower jump, and Haedra is kissing the sculpture here, making a bonk. And Aurel is winning it with a 50.64. Azion 1 second behind in second place. Haedra granting himself third place. And Binks with a DNF, not able to finish. So Aurel up to 76 points, 69 points for Haedra, and then 57 points for Binks. Azion came a little bit closer though, than towards Binks. It's Alex. A French guy called Alex Burim. Oh, what a close round here. What a tight drift from Aurel and Azion here. But it's still Haedra in the lead, who will grant himself the most amount of speed. It's actually Haedra. Azion also with a good amount of speed. And let's see, Haedra still in the lead. Haedra really figured this part out the best, but Aurel comes back strong. Now in the lead, 0.04 of a second between him and Haedra. But this is impossible to call between both of the players. Actually, Azion is in the mix now as well. So all in this transition. Azion with a low jump, but not getting it good. Goes for the right, a jump, actually touches it there and is dead. So it will be Aurel in the lead, Haedra in second. Then Azion not able to finish. Binks also, yeah, Binks was able to finish, but Azion not able to finish though. So he will drop a little bit further behind again after his second place on the prior round. So Aurel up to 86 points, 10 points ahead of Haedra, and then Haedra's an additional 14 points ahead of Binks, who is MTK Alex. Thank you, Bull TM. So Azion with a DNF, and oh, this is not looking good for Alex. Azion here, not Alex. Because he is only at 36 points, and he really needs some points, of course, because Aurel is already at 86 points and is here. And it's looking good that he could maybe win yet another round here, as you can see. But Haedra comes back strong again. 12,000 of a second between both of the players here. 0.54 now. Haedra with a good line. Aurel goes a little bit more outside and therefore grants himself a better ramp cut. Haedra is still staying on the track with the earlier landing, but it will be Aurel with a better line in the end, who will take it with a 50.68. What a great ending from Aurel, moving up to 96 points, and Haedra also moving up to 83 points. What a great performance from both Aurel and Haedra here in the grand final. Wow. What a great performance. I can just say that. Outstandingly good. And now the last map coming in, where we have a very cool ending section. You can see this part here. This is a no grip block, and this is a bumper block, and then here is the finish, or are the finishes. So you can maybe imagine what will happen. Okay. Okay. If I go to replay and then 8. Oh, that's good. Alright. IQ move. Okay, so players are warming up. It's dirt and tarmac heavy, as Azion has made a mistake. And we have Binks right now on first, so let's see what he's doing in this ending. Why is it not working anymore? I think when I skip to a player, it will go to follow directly. So I have to spectate them in this point of view. So warm-up has come to an end. And we have only seen Aurel finishing with a 41.14. WR is below 40 seconds, if I remember correctly. And let's go into the first round. We could see our first finalist here with Aurel being at 96 points. So he's only two second places away and 1 first place of him granting himself the finalist status. And Haedra could also theoretically grant himself the finalist status with 3 first places and 1 second place. But very close round to start it off here. Binks is also here in the mix. As you can see, every player is in between each other. It's 500ths of a second between all of the players. Only Haedra dropped a little bit behind. And also Binks. So we'll be between Azion and Aurel in this ending. Who will take it? Aurel with a good section. But Azion jumps super far to the left and he will take it. He will snipe the first place from Azion. And Aurel will only grant himself the second place. Haedra in last. And then we have Binks granting himself 5 points. So great ending there from Azion. And he will move up to 46 points. But it was his first victory. And definitely not enough for him. He needs more than that. Okay, now Aurel with a good trajectory here. Binks also pushing it. You can see it. Binks now in first place, followed up by Azion. And then we have Aurel and Haedra in the top 4. Haedra dropped a little bit further behind, finds himself 0.3 of a second behind the leader, who's right now impossible to call, because Aurel and Azion have both similar speed. Azion with a better trajectory though, but this wasn't the case because Aurel had a little bit more speed. Who will take it in the end? Azion with a better ending yet again, and Aurel gets sniped again in this ending. Wow, what a great ending. So second win in a row for Azion. Aurel in second, and then we have Binks yet again in third place. So same position as in the prior round. But that's what I was speaking about. Aurel is one victory away of him granting himself the final status. Let's see what will happen in this round. Is Aurel, the gaming privé player, able to make it happen? Or can Azion yet again snipe him in the ending? Haedra this time around with a good start, but didn't get a lot of grip in the underground section. So we'll drop a little bit further behind this time. It is Aurel approaching this section first, but it's so close again. It is Binks and Azion still in the mix here for that battle, for that first place. Binks is just behind Aurel, and Binks has a little bit more speed and also a tiny tad of a better landing here. So who will take it? Aurel with a mistake, and Binks will win this round with a 40.26. Haedra behind him, and then we have Azion. Aurel finishing, but only in last place and granting himself 3 points. So Haedra now up to 96 points, but look at the gap here. This is tremendous. 17 points of a difference between Aurel and Haedra. They have to deny him a final status yet again, because he needs first and second now. Let's go. Let's see what will happen. Azion now up to 61 points. But this is still, he's only halfway through if he wants to make something happen. But Azion off to a very good start. Look at that. He is just pushing it. He's on first place, followed up by Haedra, Aurel, and then we have Binks finding himself 0.2 of a second behind the rest of the pack. But it is Binks actually now in third place because Haedra made that mistake. So it is actually Aurel, oh, going super close there to the dirt fence, but nothing has happened. But who will take that first place? Will it be Azion or Aurel? Azion will take it yet again, but Aurel is up to the final status and he is dropping a 40.05. What is this guy doing? So Aurel up to finalist mode. Azion up to 71 points. So great round for him. And this will be spicy now, because we have no warm-up and it will start immediately. It will start directly. Haedra and Binks not even have surpassed the 100 points barrier. But we now are on a mini RPG or a mini RP jail. I got that joke because J is G and haha. Yeah, I understood. Real IQ. Mini RP jail. Because G is J. So, all good. Mini RP jail is coming up now. We have Binks doing a good warm. I wanted to say warm-up, but we're on the live round, so I was wrong with that. Just saying it beforehand and then pulling the full Brokeback move here. So Binks is now in first place, and then we have Azion just behind him, but Aurel with a good comeback here in this section. Actually, Azion with more speed, so Azion is just shining through. Maybe he has arrived in this grand final, but Aurel is pushing it. Aurel not with the best amount of speed though, but Aurel can risk it. It's do or die for Aurel in this section. Can he clock in the victory and the 35-year Aurel with more speed? And Aurel will be the winner of the Battle for the Crown. Step 4. GG. GG towards Aurel. 35 euros to Aurel into his pocket. Azion only in second place, but what a great ending section there from the gaming privé player. Wow, so Aurel using his first finalist attempt to his advantage and actually granting himself 35 euro. And now we'll play it out for 15 euro for that second place. Who will take it? Will it be Haedra, who is right now in a favorable position with 104 points? Will it be Binks, who's at 95 points? Or Azion with the comeback, who's at 78 points? But unfortunately, he had too many DNF rounds and too many failing rounds, as well as this one. So who will take that first place? Right now, it's Haedra with a good landing. Binks was a bit stumbling in this section. So Haedra is now up to first. But of course, the ending is remaining for both of the players. Who will take it? Now, right now, it's looking good for Haedra that he can grant himself the first place. Yes, he will do so. But no, it will actually be Binks, because Haedra has released 2 less. And Azion is also finishing, but only in last place. And he is now up to 83 points. So Haedra 1 victory away of him granting himself the finalist status. Let's see what he can do. 111 points for him. The second place will put him up to 118 points. And this is certainly not enough for him. Oh, Binks goes super far to the right. And therefore had to readjust his line. And he's out on the battle here for that first place. Haedra off to a good start. Super close for him. So he has a lot of speed in this freewheel section. Binks is a little bit further behind. But he can still have a saying concerning we have this end remaining. Good section for Haedra here. Binks 0.5 of a second behind, but comes a little bit closer in this section. But Haedra has a little bit more speed. So will Haedra grant himself the final status, or will Binks deny him? It will be Binks failing it. And actually it will be Azion who will clock in the second place, and Haedra is up to finalist mode. Binks up to 110 point, and he needs to deny Haedra the victory now. And Azion is also in the need of 10 pointers here. As you can see, 110 and 90 points for Binks and Azion. And Haedra is up to finalist mode. Oh, Azion and Haedra both jump very far to the left. And therefore Binks has not as much speed as Haedra and Azion. But Azion with a mistake. So it's Binks' task to deny Haedra the victory here. It's looking really good so far for Haedra. Quarter of a second ahead of Binks here. But Binks comes closer. Binks wants to show why he's in this grand final and why he is up at 110 points. Binks is going for the overtake and he's ahead of Haedra. 400ths of a second between both of the players. The ending is remaining for both Haedra and Binks. Who will take this? Who will grant himself the final status? Oh, who will win it? It is Haedra who will grant himself the second place. GG. What a great ending from Haedra there, and the 47.21 will just serve the purpose and will grant himself 15 euro. Wow, what a messy round, but close ending there as we go to Piece of Cup again. Not Piece of Cup, Piece of Dirt, I'm sorry. Last map it will be. It is Binks, 1 round away of him granting himself the final status. And then we have Azion with 95 points. He needs to win 3 rounds in a row to grant himself the final status. And then another round in order to grant himself the second place. Definitely possible for him. But Binks looked really strong on this track here. So it will be a tough task to do. So Azion off to a very, very good start. As you can see, Binks also in the mix. Binks comes closer though. And it will be Binks who could deny some points, but it doesn't matter who will win or lose this round. Because if Azion is at 105 points or at 102 points, it doesn't matter. Because he needs to win 3 consecutive rounds in a row anyway. So Azion is getting maybe some momentum in for the next round, but nothing more than that. Azion winning this round over Binks, and Binks is up to finalist mode. 49.26 for Azion. What a great time to start off with this track again. Piece of Dirt it is, and Binks is up to finalist mode. So can Binks use his first finalist attempt, or will Azion deny a 10-pointer to him again and will move up to 115 points? We will find out in this round. It is super close here for that start section. It is actually Azion with a godlike transition here. Has more speed and a good jump, but a little bit of a wonky section in this part. Couldn't really take control of his car or take over control of his car, but he's still in the mix. So it's between Azion and Binks here for that third place. Who will grant himself a solace of 5 euro here? Who will do that? It is looking that Binks will use his first finals attempt. Good transition here from Binks. And Azion is coming closer though, but it is not sufficient for him. He drops a little bit further behind. Also a bad section for Azion here. So only the ending remaining for Binks. And Binks will grant himself the third place and 5 euro. GG with a 49.15. What a great time. And this will conclude the fourth step from the battle for the crown here. Really nice competition, if you ask me. Aurel winning it, Haedra in second. Then we have Binks in third place and Azion after a great comeback. Unfortunately, only in last place. But what a match. Aurel really dominating it throughout the middle half of the match. And then Haedra come back strong. Binks also had a chance to grant himself the second place. But it wasn't quite enough. But yeah, boys.